This is crazy. Like I never thought I was gonna do a coming out. Like I never thought. I was living my life very peacefully. I was like doing my things. For me, that was just a, how do you say it? An agreement with my parents that we don't talk about. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. No, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno. So I don't even know where to start. It's very weird. Like it's very weird. So let me just put some context on it. Okay. Okay, it's there's some part of it that doesn't concern me that's gonna be a bit sad and like that's gonna talk about death and things like that. So I'm just putting a trigger warning here. So yeah, let's start. 2 days ago, while I was like at my hometown, my home place in vacation, I learned that a friend of mine who is like a member of the community of the Boron community in Canada has passed away. He was my friend, yes, but we weren't in the same country. We weren't in the same town. We were talking like casually, like I really loved him. We were joking and all, but like it's just to say that I'm I'm not the one like suffering the most. Like, of course, I'm very sad, and we lost the light. We lost like a sunshine in the community in Canada. But I can't imagine the pain of like people that were seeing him almost every day in Toronto, or like people from his house. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm feeling very sad, but I'm trying to like I'm thinking about the people that are very close to him, and I can't imagine how it feels for them. So he was very young, and like since I learned that news, I've been like kind of shocked, but I've mostly had a mix of confusion, of anger, and of sadness because I didn't think that something like that could happen. I never imagined, and it just so fucking unfair. It's just so unfair. It just like I don't know who to be mad. I don't know who to be mad at, but like I want to be mad at someone. I want to confront someone about it, but like there's nobody except God. Um. So yeah, like today is Thursday, and since like Tuesday afternoon, I've been feeling very blues, very like a mix of a lot of things. Um, kind of in my head, like thinking, talking with my house, like trying to get the emotions out and all. But anyway, so I was navigating that, and like since Tuesday's night, like while I was already in my head and in my feelings, I was at my uncle with my parents, and my uncle started to tell me, "Oh, but like you really need to get your life in order, to find a real job, to like start to buy something, start to like invest. Like if Canada is not for you, like come back here. If here is not for you, like go somewhere else." But like not on, it wasn't like it wasn't on the it wasn't on a insulting way. Like I didn't take it bad, but I was just like, okay, I know. Please, 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 like not now. Anyway, I was like, okay, okay, sure, no, 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 no. Like it lasted like 10 minutes, something like that. We went home, like I went to sleep and all and all. And it's also my fault because I didn't told my parents like what I was dealing with, but it's because I don't tell my parents a lot about like when I feel sad and all. Um, all that to say that. The next day, so on Wednesday morning, then like the day after, I was sitting with my dad, and I was like a bit in my head, in my thoughts, and he was like, "Oh, what's up?" And just like to dodge the conversation, I was like, "Oh, I'm feeling kind of sick lately, like kind of tired, kind of like no, 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 no." It's like, "Oh, it's normal, like you had fun, you're like partying a lot, so your body is resting, blah 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 blah." I was like, "Okay, sure." And then he started to talk to me about the same thing, like getting my life in order, finding a job, blah blah blah. But he really was putting the emphasis of on like getting my life in order and get married and have kids and build a family. And he was like, "This is the way Christian. This is the way like life is for Christian people that want to live in a Christian way. Like the beauty of having kids, the beauty of like making life and all." I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was like, "That's true." And he was like, "Oh, but you don't seem to agree." I was like, "No, it's okay. Like, you're right. I know." And then he was like, "Okay, but like, why you're not thinking about it? Like, why you're not trying to meet someone? Why you're like not trying to, like talk with girls, blah 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 blah." I was like, "I don't know. It just didn't happen. I'm just like not forcing it." Then he was like, "Okay, but what about having kids? You don't want to have kids?" I was like, "Yes, of course I want to have kids." Then he was like, "Okay, but how you gonna have kids and you don't want to get married?" He was like, "You don't want to get married, right?" And I was like, I said, "I don't know. At this moment, I felt so angry about like all those things, about like the passing away, about a lot of things." So I was just like, and it's really not my type to say things like that. Okay, I'm very like dodging confrontations. But I was like, if I keep talking, you're gonna be mad. So that's why I'm not talking. If you want to talk, we're gonna talk. But I'm not talking because I'm trying to preserve you and I'm trying to protect you. So like, if you want to talk, we're gonna talk. But I'm not talking to protect you from what I'm gonna say. He was kind of gagged. He was like, "Oh, but why are you saying that? There's nothing that will make me angry. You can tell me everything, blah 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 blah." And then he was like, "If you don't want to get married, you can say it." And I said, "It's not that I don't want to get married. It's that if I get married, it's not gonna be with a girl." He was like, "Oh, why you say that? What do you mean? What do you mean?" And then I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna like if I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna marry a boy." I really can't believe that this happened. Like, I feel so weird. I feel empty. I feel like I'm gonna keep the story, but I feel empty and naked and like I feel not vulnerable, but something like that. I feel like I don't know. This is very weird. Very very weird. Anyway, um, so he was like, "Oh, why you say that? Why you're saying that? This is not this is not you. Like, this is not how you should live your life." Blah 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 blah. Like how? Like he was like, "Oh, I never should have sent you to Canada to study." And I was like, "No, it didn't start in Canada. It started when I was 13 years old, 14 years old." He was like, "Oh, like he was shocked, but not disgusted, and that's the good thing, of course. But the conversation kept going very naturally and very like he was very calm and very like he was just saying, "Oh, but it's okay. Like your experience, but now you need to change. You're 27. You need to change. Like you need to." He said, "You need to bury all of your past, like all of what you did. Okay, you experimented, blah 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 blah, but now like you need to bury it and to move on and to start a real Christian life." And I was like, okay, but if there's a solution, tell me, like, because I don't know any solution. Like, I've been trying all my adolescence and young adulthood to like change, and I couldn't. And now that I'm feeling good, like, tell me if there's like a medicine for it. He was like, no, like, the it has to come from inside you, like right now you're, I don't know if I'm gonna find the word in English, but you're wandering. Yes, wandering, like, when you walk and you don't know where you're going. Like, he was like, yeah, right now you're wandering, you're not in the path of a Christian life, and you need to come back to it, like, very fast, and it has to come from inside you. Like, you need to cut off all of your circles in Canada, here, like, every like all of those friends that makes you be comfortable with that. Like, you need to you need to start like having friends that live in the Christian life, and take like good passes in life, and are about to get married and all. You need to like stop with all of these games, with all of this like going out, blah 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 blah. He said you need to stop with all of those things you put on Instagram, like talking about Bob. He kept on talking. He was like, but it has to come from inside you. You have to make the decision to like cut the past, to leave it behind you, and start a new life starting now. Like, it's gonna be hard at first, but you're gonna get through it, blah 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 blah. And why he almost convinced me, like, at like a little short time, I was like, okay, maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need to like totally change, and to like go to a normal life. And then I just thought about, like, my friend passing away, and all of this injustice, and all of the talents that queer people have, and all of this brightness, all of this joy, and the injustice that queer people lives. And I was like, what? Like, wait, why am I even considering like living that life? Living, not living, like living, like go out of that life. So anyway, that was a mix of anger, sorry, of like sadness, of disappointment. I was like, why is this happening? I didn't like, I'm 27. Like, coming out at 27 feels a bit embarrassing, but there's no time for it, of course. But okay, and I just want to add, we're not. I haven't been living in the same country as him for almost 10 years. So yes, like, I when I come to vacation, I'm doing my things like very low key and all. But I didn't have to hide that much. Anyway, the conversation kept on going. He was like, okay, but you need to make the decision to change, blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna think about it, just to like get out of the conversation. I know I'm very like fearing confrontations in general. And when I said, oh, I'm gonna think about it, she was like, no, no, no. Like, you have to know that you want to make the decision. Like, you have to be sure about the decision. Stop being so hesitant about this or that, or like not being sure about what you want. Like, you have to make the decision of like changing and living a better life. So like, what's your decision? And I was like, I decide not to change. I'm good how I am. I'm good the way I am. I'm not asking anyone anything. Like, and I told him, like, I'm almost a perfect man. Like, I'm generous, I'm kind, I'm sweet. I'm like, I follow all the rules of like a real Christian life from my perspective. Like sharing with the poor, helping others, like loving each others. I follow every um rules of it. And I told him, like, I'm almost perfect because I don't have the choice. And now because of that, that I'm that child that like is wandering in the hell, or like that's not following the path of Jesus, or like that's like wasting his life or whatever, whatever. And that made me so fucking angry because I knew that it was gonna happen. I know that like as soon as he knew, like I'm gonna pass from being the perfect kid to like being the worst kid ever. Like just for that like fucking detail that doesn't concern anybody except me. Like what the fuck? This is so crazy. I'm so angry about it. And I'm like making this video helps me a lot because I don't want to talk I talked about it to like some people, but I don't feel like really talking about it because I don't know. I don't of course they will understand, but I don't even like I don't know. I just wanted to talk and this is helping me a lot. Um so yeah, the conversation went like that. I was like, no, I don't want to change. And then he started to be like, okay, but if you don't want to change, it means that like you don't want to follow a Christian life. You want to follow like a life of perdition and uh of like charnic pleasure. I don't know how we say it, but like a life of sin, whatever, whatever. And then I was like, no, I'm not gonna let you take away my faith and my religion from me because of that. Like I'm going to church. Like I don't try to don't try to take away my religion from me. Like if I decide that I want to live a Christian life and be like that, like I'm gonna do it. And he was like, no, but this is the fundament of Christianity, like having like a man and a woman. That's the first thing that was created. Blah 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 blah. Blah. Anyway, I was I just didn't like it was like a conversation between two walls talking to each other and nobody listening. So yeah, like the conversation kind of stopped like that. Then he was like, please think about it. Please think about it. Like, don't stay like that. You need to change. You need to change. Like, please, like, don't like think about it. Like, you have 10 days. Go to Canada. Like, fix your life. If you want, come back here. Start to work. Look for a life. Talk to. He was like naming girls that I knew from where I was kids, and he was like, "Oh, this girl is very nice. This girl is very nice. Like, I'm sure you would make a great couple." Blah 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 blah. And it was so embarrassing. Not embarrassing. It was like humiliating for me and for them. Anyway, um, yeah, the conversation started to like fade out. He was like, "Yeah, you need to think about it. You need to think about it." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Okay." And then we were just sitting here, like I wasn't uncomfortable, but we were just like sitting here, and he was like, just like whispering things and citing and like, like things like that. Then I went about my business. I went to do my things, to like wash my clothes and all. And like he stayed like almost 1 hour thinking about the conversation and not doing anything and not moving. And it was kind of painful to see like how me doing something that doesn't concern you can make you so sad. Like, and like I love my parents, so of course I don't want to see me like that. But what am I supposed to do? Because when we were talking, I was telling him like, if I marry a girl, it's gonna be for you. It's not gonna be like because I want to. Blah, blah, blah. I feel like it's to please you. And he was like, no, like don't think like that. It has to be for you. Like no, 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 no. Anyway, and after that, the day went on. It was like a bit weird, but not too much. Like that's the It's not a problem. It's like actually a blessing. But he's not mad. He wasn't mad, and he's not mad. He's just living with the hope of like me changing. And I know that he's like praying for me to change, like talking to my mother, like to see what they're gonna do. Like like he has a plan in his head for me, but like I don't want to follow that plan. So like the fact that there wasn't no anger, no things like that. Like I felt angry, but I couldn't express it because he was reacting very well, and I don't know, like I don't know what else. It's like I told him that, and he was like, "No, I'm not gonna accept it. Like, I'm not mad. I'm not gonna accept it, and now I'm gonna dedicate my life to change you." Like, what the fuck? Like, like, why are you making kids? It's if it's and like I don't party a lot. I don't take drugs. I don't like drink too much. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't even have sex that much, and if that's the problem, like just having hookups, like I can stop. If that's the problem, like I can stop. If he if he'd ask me, oh, okay, but like if it's that, then just focus on like finding a husband and building a real life, but like stop with the no, 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 no. No, he was like, for him, no matter what I do, as soon as I have assurance and I could like emotionally a man, that's over. Like I'm in the sea of sins. I'm like daring the devil. I'm going away from God. So that's the problem, because now what I want to do is get even further in that. Like you want me to be the bad guy? I'm gonna be the bad guy. You want me to be a sinner? I'm gonna be a sinner with a big S, like the S on my chest. I'm not gonna do it, of course, but it's just so frustrating. I'm like, why is it everything that you see? Why is it the only thing that you see? Anyway, so yeah, the day went on like very naturally. He was very kind to me, like as always. I was very kind to him as like there was no like anger or like bad feelings, but just him thinking about how he's gonna change me, and he know that if like we get into a fight or we don't talk with each other, it's never gonna happen. I'm not gonna change. So I feel like he's controlling himself to be like as kind as possible, so like he could have that power on me. Not power in a bad way, but like he could have that influence. Like he could help me in his perspective. So then, thankfully, like thank God, my sister wanted to go to the beach with her friend. So I went with her. We went to the beach and all. And on the way back, it was like 6 p.m. Yeah, sorry, my memory went. I run out of memory. So I made my sister. I asked my sister to drop me at like downtown. There was the carnival and the parties and all. Not parties, but like carnival. And I have a very good friend like that I consider like like I really like a very very good friend, and I know that I can talk to him about those kind of things, and I know that like I can go see him when I don't want to go to my house for whatever reason. So I texted him. I was like, "Hey, are you like home? Can I pass by and all?" He was like, "Yeah, of course." No, 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 no. I was like, "Yeah, I need to. I need to get out. I need to not go home." He was like, "Okay, you're gonna tell me about it when you arrive." So my sister dropped me. We spent the evening together. We went like to see the carnival, to see like everything, and there's a tradition of like burning figure that's called Vaval at the last day of Carnival on the Wednesday, and then throwing it in the sea, like to represent all the bad things that happened the last year. So we went to the carnival. We saw like the thing getting on fire and like being thrown in the sea, like all those things, and that was very refreshing. I was like, oof, okay, I needed to see like something burn, and all the music, the groups, and all the costumes. Like it was very refreshing, very like giving me life. But I was very I was very dissociated though. I was very like dissociated. Even my friend, like he was seeing that he knew, like I told him everything, so he knew like the reason. So there was no problem with that. But he was like, "Are you good?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You seem disturbed." I was like, "No, I'm just dissociated." I was like, oh, "Okay." Per. Like we saw some people. We walked. Like that was a good evening. Like then he dropped me home. Thanks to him, like for real, I love him so much. He's really the best. Because my dad even like texted me, "Oh, like, do you want me to come pick you up from your friends and all?" I was like, "Oh, not at all, not at all, thank you." So thankfully, like my friend was able to drop me home. Um, and yeah, like then I went home, I slept, and here I am waking up. And I'm leaving the country, the island, in less than 1 week. But honestly, like I wish I could live like right now. I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that and just teleport to Canada. So yeah, here is the story. And even like before I went to the beach with my sister, like on the afternoon and all, after we had lunch, after we had like yeah, lunch and all. I was napping and he came next to me and he was like, "So what did you think about it? Are you gonna change?" And if it's gonna be the mood, if it's gonna be like him asking me every day or like 2 times a day if I'm gonna change, I don't know what I should do. Like I don't know what should be my reaction. Like maybe I don't know. I don't know. I just know that my friend that sadly passed away gave me all the energy to like survive, not survive, because I know it's I know their story of coming out very very hard and like with real fight and violence. So like this is not a surviving, but I know that my friend like helped me find the courage to do it and to like to say no, I'm not gonna change and I'm gonna be like that in the name of curiosity. You know, yeah. So I don't know what's the next step. I don't know what's like for real. And like I'm 2025 so far has been like so great and yeah, so fucking great. So great, but also so teaching, so expanding, so refreshing, so stimulating, and it keeps on going, And now I just feel like I wanna. I feel like I want to prove them that. I feel like I want to prove them that you know that I'm like successful at life, but do I really want to prove anything to them? Like, are they even gonna understand what? Do I want to match their standard? I don't know. I just want to be independent because I'm independent right now, but still, like I get help from my family from time to time. Like, you know, and sometimes when I can, I help them. But lately because I wasn't working, I got help from them. But I want to be so independent right now. I want to be so independent. And I think it's going to be my goal for 2025. Like, I'm going to do a lot of sacrifice. Like, I'm going to, like, my father was right at, at some point. He would, like, stop being hesitant and choose the life you want to live. Yeah, I'm choosing the life I want to live. And yeah, I'm digging it. I'm getting like straight to it. So yeah, that was the story. Um, it's very long. Like there's a lot of details and all, but I don't know if I'm going to post it. But the goal is to post every video that I do. So yeah, this is crazy. Like I never thought I was going to do a coming out. Like I never thought. I was living my life very peacefully. I was like doing my things. For me, that was just a, how do you say it? An agreement with my parents that we don't talk about. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno. For me, like that was that. But since they want to talk about it, let's talk about it.